Cliff May, he's the founder and the president of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Cliff, good to see you, my friend there. Cliff, wow, this is such a morning here. You know, I have to ask you this. There's been a flurry of diplomatic activity at Mar-a-Lago in the last couple of days. Zelensky coming to Mar-a-Lago, Netanyahu coming to Mar-a-Lago. Let's talk about the Iran-Venezuela nexus, I'll call it that here, with all these protests going on right now in Iran, because frankly, their economy is collapsing here. Do you see some spillover effects in either direction, Cliff?
I think we do. I think the way to look at this is and I think the president realizes this. There's something out there that we've been calling at my think tank for a long time, the axis of aggressors. And by that, I mean Beijing, Moscow, Tehran, and Pyongyang, North Korea. But there's also an axis of enablers who are very close to this axis of aggressors. And that would include, obviously, Venezuela. It would include Cuba. It would include Nicaragua. By the way, those three are the most important, are really adversaries of the U.S., aligned with our enemies in Latin America. So all of this is getting shaken up very profoundly by the president right now. And as Carrie said, it really starting with the 12-day war that culminated with the B-2s striking Fordo, the nuclear weapons facilities, most important of the facilities, in Tehran. The knee bone is connected to the thigh bone. This is all about the international order is what it's about.
Yeah, Carrie, bringing you in yet again here. Obviously, we're going to hear from the president at 11 a.m. And this is really great news for the Venezuelan people. I mean, if you could offer, what have the Venezuelan people suffered under Maduro here?
It's been an unbelievable collapse from a nation that was once the most educated, the wealthiest, and in fact, the country that brought democracy to the entire hemisphere. Venezuela is a beautiful country filled with some of the most resilient people that we have ever seen. They have been fighting inside the country for years to bring democracy back to their people. And as Maria Corina Machado, who is the leader in Venezuela, has said many times, this is about bringing democracy back, it's about bringing freedom back, and it's about bringing all the Venezuelan exiles back to their country. So Maduro is a perfect example of what can happen to a vibrant country if they have the wrong leadership. Sure. And it is so exciting that there may be a potential to change that. I would just add one thing about Iran to connect back to what Cliff had mentioned. You know, it's very interesting. Right now, there are serious protests going on in Iran at the same time, and President Trump has specifically stated that he will come and support the Iranian people if they are killed by the regime, which is usually what they want to do. That, I think, is sending a very clear message to the Iranian leadership, seeing what's happened in Venezuela, that they will be held accountable, and President Trump stands behind his word.
Yeah, Cliff, just last word. I want to get you in here right now. What about pro-Maduro forces still in the Venezuelan army, in the Venezuelan populace here? They're not going to take this line down. Do you think they will rise up alongside some of these anti-Maduro forces who are elated at this news today?
Well, we hope so. And my guess is that the CIA has been doing its job. There's some general who they've been talking with who is ready to let's say, form a transitional government and make sure and take over power. This won't be so easy because there are Cuban, quote unquote, advisors there, probably Russian advisors there. They won't want to give up power. But all that's possible. And the one other thing I do want to mention, because I think it's important, is that Maduro has been hand in glove also with Hezbollah, which is a terrorist organization. They struck against the Jewish communal organization, 1994, right, in Argentina. You have had this. You've had these regimes like Maduro's working hand in glove with terrorists, so you have narco-terrorist cartels. That is hugely dangerous, and something had to be done about it. For years, nothing was done about it. Right, so Cliff, there's much more to play out. You're absolutely right. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. I'm sure it's very exciting in Caracas today.
All right, Cliff May, Carrie Filippetti, thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday morning.
Thank you.